is Lucky with Lucky Seventh Tarot. Today I'm not going to be talking to you about tarot or astrology or cardology in this video. I just want to talk to you guys about humanity. I know that, I might lose followers for this video or subscribers, but we all, as a community of people, are affected by what's going on in our society. And this isn't political. This video is not meant to be political in any way. Those of you who've watched me for a long time, I try to be very unbiased, right? But there's no way to be unbiased. You can't sit on the sidelines of who's right and who's wrong in a situation where Black and brown people are dying. And there is nothing that we can do about it. Like, literally, our hands are tied. Like, I've seen one of my very, very close friends, like a video, he's a Black man, crying because nobody knows like what he has to go through. And that he's one of millions, right? Nobody knows what he's going through on a daily basis just to stay safe. And that might sound crazy to people. Like, I'm sure that if you don't have to deal with that sounds insane. Like, oh, it should be fine. It's one of millions that can't, that has gotten murdered over wearing a hoodie, or there was extenuating circumstances to the situation and he shouldn't have violated the law, and make excuses where you want to make excuses. This is an issue of humanity. This is not a Black issue. This isn't a brown issue. This is an issue for everyone, everybody. This is a problem for our society as a whole, as a people. And until everyone collectively gets on board, this is not going to change. I have family members that are police officers that, I know their character, I know who they are as individuals, and I would hope that they carried that throughout their work and their career, that they're good people. But we have to create a change. There has to be a change. And I'm not technically Black. I'm Puerto Rican. Some of you guys don't know that. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I'm Puerto Rican. I'm raising a young Black man. My nephews are young Black men. My nieces are young Black women. And I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to have to teach him. And I've already begun to teach them how to interact with the police to make sure that they come home. That is not our job. That should not be what we do. That shouldn't be a part of the at-home curriculum, to have to teach your kids to make sure that if they're in the vehicle with someone who gets pulled over, if they're the driver of a vehicle with someone, if they just have an interaction with someone, with the police, this is how they have to handle themselves. And they can't be belligerent, and they can't yell at them, and they can't, even if they're wrong, they need to swallow it and do whatever the police ask them, and the whole nine, go through it to the point where it's second nature. People with Black and brown kids are having to have those conversations with their kids. It's like reading the ABCs, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you do it 1,000 times. We're having to do it 1,000 times to make sure that they got it. How is that okay? We live in a society that, like, everybody's not going to like everybody. But you should not be guilty until proven innocent because you're Black. We live in a really, really scary place where mothers have to wonder if their kids are going to come home. How is that okay? I honestly don't understand the resistance to police reform. Everything else in all the old beliefs that we grew up thinking, that something was wrong with you if you were part of the LGBT community, right? We wouldn't even acknowledge it as a community. It was wrong, right? That was corrected. And it's still in the process of being corrected. But we realize that was wrong. And the government has taken action to legalize same-sex marriage and to acknowledge, we used to hide those things even in the military. Don't ask, don't tell was repealed. Like, these different things that we knew before, that were like enacted before, that no longer served us and that were hurting us as a humanity. Yet we see Black and brown men, Black and brown women still being treated like 3/4 of a human being. We still see this group of beautiful people that are being villainized and the police overusing their power. The power that we as a community give them. And yet there are no changes. I don't care if you're white, if you're purple, green, whatever you are. This affects you. This affects you. And whatever side of the political realm you fall on, this affects you. This is not okay. It's not okay. If it's not okay for civilians who don't have a badge to kill someone and not be held accountable, it should not be okay for a police officer to murder someone and not be held accountable. If all you're going to do is lose your job, he can find another job. George Floyd can't come back to this life. That is not okay. Somebody lost a son, a brother, a father. His life over a $20 bill that he did or didn't know, was a fake. And the police have claimed that he resisted arrest. And we watched a 9-minute video and saw no resisting. Then the owner of Cub Foods got on CNN and said that he has been told by police not to release his surveillance cameras, but that he watched the surveillance cameras from the moment the interaction with the police began until it was over. And there was no resistance. But even resistance, even if a person resisted arrest, right? Once they're apprehended, once you have handcuffs on them, it's over, right? There's no need to sit on their neck. There's no need to do any of those things. And yet they happen. And this isn't the first time it's happened. This isn't the 100th time it's happened. This is what? The second time that we know of, that we've seen. And the only reason that this is even being put out there and it's even being looked at so intensely, where the FBI is now investigating, is because we see it. How many black and brown men have to die before we get police reform? Who polices the police? I've seen people posting, if you see an officer or a police officer killing me, don't record it, help me. How do you help? How do you help? How do you stand in to help somebody who's being hurt, who could potentially die, and you're risking your own life, your own safety, your family to help the person because they have that much power? It makes you feel powerless. Like, I can understand the outrage. That is horrible that they have that much power. That us as a community can't stand together, can't stand up, can't say, you're wrong, stop doing that. And for them to listen. Like, when do the powers that be, the lawmakers, step in and say, enough is enough? The overuse of police violence and physical force is too much. We cannot hit our children. We can't discipline our children without children's services being called on us. Yet a police officer can come into your home or drag your child, beat your child, and absolutely nothing happens to them. You can be charged for using a belt to whoop your kid, and they can't be charged for killing them. Like, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. And until everybody, and I mean everybody, Black people, brown people, white people, everybody is tired of this, it is not going to change. So here's what I think we need. We need accountability. These people need to be held accountable for their actions. Just because you have a badge does not give you the authority to kill unarmed Black and brown people because you feel like it, or you feel threatened because they look bigger than you, or you feel intimidated. Their presence alone is not a threat. It's not. But the fact that police officers feel threatened, and I'm not saying all police officers, that is not it, but enough, enough that these people are being killed regularly. Like, this happens all the time. In 2014, Eric Garner was just murdered by the police in the almost very same way, caught on camera. And guess what? He was fired, but never charged. Where is the humanity? Like, yes, you get up in the morning and you have a family and you eat breakfast and the whole nine, and then you put on your uniform and kiss your family goodbye. And I know that the job is difficult because you are in danger. I get it. But that does not give you the right to assume that everyone is going to hurt you. And I think personally, on a personal level, we have to have proper training for our police officers. I personally feel like in my community alone, okay, I live in a very diverse community. And the police officers in my community are not diverse. I maybe have seen one Black police officer. All the other police officers that I know of that are in the media in my area are white officers. I think there's like one or two Hispanic officers out here. But most of these officers did not grow up here. They don't know the people here. They don't reach out to the people here in this community. Our community has been on the news, on World Star, the whole nine, for abusing, physically caught on camera abuse. In this community right here, slamming someone's head against the windshield of their vehicle. There has to be either proper training, with proper training, but also getting to know your community so you're not in fear of them. Where are the psychological reports being done? Are these people taking psychological tests to find out whether or not they have biases towards the community of people that they're swearing to protect and serve? Or do they just think that all Black and brown people are criminals? Do they have a power complex about themselves where they believe that badge somehow gives them the power to hurt people? These are all things that aren't happening within our police force that need to happen. They should not be allowed to turn their body cameras off. They should all have body cameras. And nobody wants to take accountability. Like, instead of, in this particular case with George Floyd, the spokesperson for the Minneapolis Police Department came on out and said he resisted arrest. And everyone there, the people there, the owner of the store who has the video camera surveillance, totally refuted that was not true. There was no resisting of arrest. There needs to be training for non-lethal techniques of restraint. restraining someone without blocking their airways or breaking their limbs, hurting and harming them. There needs to be training to recognize the medical signs that someone's airway is restricted. I don't know what we can do here as a whole. I just know that this is wrong. This is wrong. And I have a black child, and I have black nieces and nephews and family members and friends, and this is shaking to my soul every time I see someone dying that had they didn't have a weapon. They didn't do anything that would have warranted a death warrant. But the police have so much power that they're the judge, the jury, and the executioner here. How do you teach your kids to come home, to be okay with that, when the people that are meant to serve and protect them are the ones that they need to be in fear of? I don't know how to teach that. I wanted to make this video, guys, because it's really, really bothering me to think about the senseless lives lost, and we can't create a change in our police system. You know, we can't create a change in our police system in 2020. We're in 2020. And they're still killing black and brown people as if this is the 1800s and we're still in slavery. They're being targeted. Whether you believe that or not, being targeted. Our entire police system, law enforcement system is a new age slavery. Excuse me. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what it's gonna take. But I know that us fighting amongst each other on what lives matter most isn't gonna work. We know that all lives matter. Absolutely. But right now, all lives matter unless you're black or brown. So it needs to be said. It needs to be in the forefront of everyone's mind that Black lives matter. And Black voices will be heard. And for everybody out there right now hurting, my heart goes out to you. And I just want everybody to try to put your differences to the side of what color you think is the right color or what political views you have. People are dying like animals. And there's nothing that we can do about it unless you have a badge or you're in a position of power. We need more Black and brown people in positions of power. We need more people making decisions in position of power, making good choices for the communities that we live in. And we need more efforts from allies, from other people that know that this is wrong, that killing someone who is unarmed and unable to defend themselves is wrong. I want us to stand together, and I hope that we will. I love you guys, and I hope that you're loving on yourselves. And today, I hope that you say a prayer for peace, meditate on the high vibrational energy that you want to put out into the world, and that you hope comes back to you tenfold. Thank you all for listening.